Okay. Well.
Hi, America.
Hi, America. Welcome to Angel and the Wiz.
Quite the adventure the last couple weeks since we were last with our public.
And may I apologize to those of you who were looking for shows these past few weeks. I had an examination and they found cancer in me.
Again,
for a second time.
Yeah.
And so we had to make arrangements to have it removed because, you know, there's very short-term prospects if you don't remove it. Okay, so we went in and got through that, got through everything. And thankfully Obamacare hasn't started yet, so I still have the same insurance that I've had, and that was a really, really nice thing to see it happen. And then I went to Celebration in Florida. There's a hospital called Celebration, and it was really, they did a nice job. Everybody was nice. Everybody was really, it was really good considering what it was, you know. So that's my little tale of interesting and stuff like that.
Well, now the surgery was successful.
Yeah.
And now you're just in recovery, and your doctor said to relax, and you said okay, and now we're taping a show. So
right.
I don't know how relaxing that is.
Oh, this is easy.
Okay.
This part, you know, shooting a show, it's a few hours that you got to spend later on.
Right.
You know, putting it all back together and everything. And we shoot very easy because, as you know, we shoot without editing.
Right.
So it means it's a straight 28 minutes, and you know.
28 minutes of conversation. We got 29 more to go, huh?
Okay. Yeah, right. So what have you been doing?
I have been working and watching my niece and nephew, and that's about it.
Right.
I don't really do much more than that.
Right.
I've been reading on my little AP mobile app, you know, that they have been lots of issues with Obamacare. Not just with the website, but that people were having stuff canceled. And I was kind of, like I've said before, I'm really grateful that I have insurance through my the company I work for, because there's no guarantee that if I was to get insurance from this Affordable Care Act,
that's right,
that it would still be there, because I'm sure that in a couple years when a new president is elected, and if it's a Republican, they're going to attempt to repeal it, which they probably will, and with some success, I'm assuming. But then what's going to happen to all those people who have got insurance from that Affordable Care Act?
Well, if moving at the current rate, we probably won't have to worry, because there's only those 20 or 30 people. You know, we can fix them around. You know, it's and well, the worst part about it is it was about power. It was never about medicine, and all the good things that there's like 3 or 4 good points that was put into Obamacare. If they had been isolated and used, and not bothered to try and change everything, you know, we could have made progress. Now we're stuck. We got the boy king there, and until he's gone, because he doesn't have I mean, I don't even. He's a psychotic liar. I mean, there's nothing there's no other way to say it. He's lied since 2010, telling everybody you can keep it if you like your plan, you can keep it. You want your doctor, you can keep it. Knowing.
What is that? And then people are getting cancellation notices.
Right. Okay, but the reason is because what he said was, if you like what you have, you can keep it. La di da da da. But what he didn't say was. But the fact of the matter is, once the Obamacare law passes, those plans are going to have to meet a different criteria, and those plans will not, they'll die. And that's why all those people are getting hurt.
But since you know more about that than I do, and I've read about the individual plans, so individuals who have gone and purchased insurance not through a business.
Right.
Those plans are being canceled. What about people who have insurance through a company that they work for? Obviously, those plans aren't being canceled, or there's no notifications, but they're going to have to. Those companies will have to adjust their insurance plans for January. Is that correct? Am I understanding that correctly?
Well, the only difference is it would be January of 15, not 14.
Okay.
Because they removed the employer mandate, which was one of the really truly horrible things about the whole thing. But you see, he won't remove the individual mandate, because he knows that people are not made to come to this, they will never come on their own.
Right.
This is a hideous thing. You've got people that are being asked to pay for maternity and birth control and all this stuff, and they're in their 50s. They're not having to get.
Right.
They shouldn't,
if you've
and they would
gone
never
through
have
menopause, then you can't. Why would you need birth control or maternity services?
Yeah, but Obama says you must, if you have this. So when you try to do one size fits all, that's what happens. That's how you get really burned. And the thing that made the other policies affordable was the fact that people chose what they wanted to insure. They just didn't have to take here. This is it. You get a McDonald's hamburger or you get a cheeseburger. That's it. Okay. Before you could have it with onions or without. You could do all those good things. And it's really it's important. And liberty gets lost a lot in what goes on. And when we get politicians fighting back and forth with each other, they always hide behind catchphrases or this or that and the other. And we don't have enough people out there in office, running for office, that are just honest, that can say something and just leave it alone. And if they're challenged, they say, no, I still believe the same thing. Well, one of the great things about Ted Cruz and Mike Lee and these guys that stood up for killing Obamacare, if they hadn't done that, you would not see what's going on now, because
probably
they brought it to the forefront, and they did what they were supposed to do. That's what they promised their constituents they'd do. And if there's it's for a guy like me, it's easy to look at. There's good people in America that want to have a good and decent service, and then there's the Washington elite who want to have what they want to have.
Right.
But they don't have to participate in it, and that is still amazing to me that you don't have to participate in it. But so I think there's just too many things wrong with it, and they're going to have to be fixed. Now, he's going to be in till 16, and it's 13.
Really?
Yeah, because.
Oh yeah, because it was 2000. Okay.
And
it's the weekend. My math is a little off today.
That's perfectly okay. I've been off for a couple of weeks myself, and I don't know if I'm going to see him leave office. Okay, so it's something
yes, you will. Don't be talking like that. You're going to see that.
I'm just saying.
Are you kidding me? Like, you think God's going to take you before you get to see a Republican in that office?
Oh, I don't know.
Heaven forbid. Mm-mm.
But I'm just saying that things are what they are, and that's about it. And it's a shame too, because for a guy to lie as much as he does, and nobody's stopping him. They're not trying to impeach him. They're not trying to do. They don't hold his feet to the fire, and yet you can watch the tapes and watch his lie, and you can and he acts like he's oblivious to it. Like I just say what I want. I'm Obama, and what I say is the law. And that's a tragedy for a country like this, which used to have tremendous respect for liberty and loyalty and individuality, and those are the things that made America great. So I don't know.
What do you think about, and this came out just recently, that the FDA says that they're banning trans fat in all foods. Have you heard about that?
I heard about it. I haven't studied it enough to know about it, but I don't think that the FDA should be doing anything comprehensive like that. They should fix little problems as they exist. And this stuff.
This is a huge deal.
Yeah, and it affects so many people, and it's going to cause such hardship, and it's going to make all kinds of manufacturers change. That just fits the Obama plan. Obama wants to do something every single day that will harm America and slow America down and make it like France and Germany and all those places, because that's how he grew up. He grew up as a child. That's the world he lived in. They hated the Americans because in those days it was just jealousy. We're not supposed to say that now. But you got to have a goal in the world, and America has become the goal. I mean, look around you. There's no joke.
It's funny you say the word, because that I never really looked at it as jealousy. That people say that they hate us, but they don't really. it's not really hatred. They're just jealous of the fact that women can drive cars and vote, and anybody can work hard enough at things and earn a decent living and not be stereotyped by finances or race or sex or sexual preference now.
We fought to have a country like that. It didn't just happen. And, and this, like the people, and it's easy to tell that it's jealousy, maybe it's envy. In some ways it's tragedy because they can't get to here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Nobody's wishing them ill or anything like that. But the fact of the matter is, when you see somebody that's croaking on about America, but he's wearing a New York Yankees hat, I mean, you know what I mean? You're not really making your point properly, sir.
One of my friends had posted on Facebook, because, a couple days ago it was election day.
Uh-huh.
And they said, I voted today, therefore I have the right to complain about the political system, since I voiced my opinion, by voting.
Right.
And he says, for all of you who didn't vote, keep your mouth shut because you have no basis. If you're not going to partake in the system, therefore you don't have the right to complain about something that you don't like the people in office, then you need to vote. And if you don't want to vote, or you're better than voting, then you have no say in what goes on.
And I
was very aware of that a couple years ago, when it was it was somebody were running for president.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Bush and
not
Al Gore.
Oh.
It was whoever we had put up against Bush after Al Gore. Do you remember?
Michael Dukakis?
Maybe. I don't remember. No, this was later.
Oh.
Anyway, I had decided I wasn't going to vote.
Okay.
Because, are you okay?
Yeah, I just wanted to check my time.
Okay. I decided I wasn't going to vote because I felt that neither one of those people were fit for presidency.
Right.
And so I decided I'm not going to vote for either one. I left that on my ballot blank. I voted for a bunch of other people, but I wasn't going to vote for either one of the presidential candidates. I didn't complain then about stuff that, I might have complained about a little bit of things, why is this guy doing this? Why is Bush doing that? I'm like, he's so annoying sometimes, but, about policies, I pretty much kept my mouth shut because I didn't have a right to complain about the policies he was making since I didn't exercise.
Read into him.
Yeah, I didn't vote for him. I did not vote for him. I just didn't vote for president that year at all.
Right.
Because I just wanted nothing, I felt neither one was a good candidate to lead the country.
Right.
So.
Well, I can.
If you're on the ballot, I'd vote for you.
Well, that's very nice that you would say that, and I would probably be a good and decent person to have there.
I think you would.
But I don't think that opportunity is going to present us. Going to be presented to us this time.
Okay.
But it would have been nice to do. But let me just as a footnote, a mid marker on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I have Ready for Love, and this is by the Hackensack Men and the Trenton Horns. That's the full band that we use every once in a while. They come out and they play and scream and yell it. And
next week we're going to have
What About Love?
What About Love? Okay.
With Colleen. So
very cool.
So we do that, yeah. So we're trying to stay awake and just move right ahead. It was tough being in a hospital because you can't get comfortable, and it gets murder. Everybody was okay, but when you do an operation here in the colon, one of the things they're most concerned about is that you can pass gas, because it means that your system is working.
Right.
And I would walk around, and it took me like an extra 2 days to finally have that system show life. So.
To finally let one loose.
Yeah, it was just.
Did you walk up to the nurse's station and then just
no, I was
be like?
in the restroom. Because it also was totally full of bug too.
Oh.
So you don't want to do that just any place. And I had, it's funny, my heart, all hearts face to the left, I guess, like this. My heart faces to the right.
Okay.
And while I was walking around, you're monitored,
Mm-hmm.
And this doctor cardiologist, a heart specialist. He sees this. No, now he's looking at me. He said, we have to do some tests. You know, we don't have to do some tests. I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
I know. But it wavers once in a while. Yeah, it does. It's okay. But it's always how it's been. Yeah, no. We need to do this. So he's on me. He's on me. So finally, we did this thing up the leg. You know, and the whole thing. Right. Okay. And he gets in and he gets all that done, but he can still only see the two, and he can't see the third one because of the way the heart is. So I said that this is enough for now, right? I mean, there's no emergency. There's obviously no emergency. I'm going home tomorrow, okay? So the next day comes. I'm ready to go. I'm so ready to go, man. And my doctor comes in, Ortiz, and I tell him I'm ready to go. He says, well, this cardiology wants to talk. So I said, I don't want to see him. I don't want to know him. I want to go. So he walks out and goes wherever he's going to go. Then I come around the corner, and this guy, he's. I mean, I'm not saying that he's bad or evil or anything, but he's on it. You know what I mean?
He's insistent.
Yeah, he's being insistent because he wants to see.
Persistent. He's being persistent.
Not everybody has a heart that looks like this. You don't always get a chance to go in and look at him, do all that stuff. But that's not my problem.
Right.
Okay, I'm not part of this evening's show.
Your ticker is fine. Yeah. It's the digestive problems.
Yeah, so I had to go through this whole thing with him, and just stay out. I'm leaving. I had to finally leave against the best wishes of the hospital. I had to sign release. I'm leaving because I just couldn't take it anymore. It was like you reach a point where.
Well, I understand the hospital. They wanted to make sure that you were perfectly healthy, or as you're going to be after that procedure, and that the reason the wave was happening every once in a while wasn't something that they caused. Because then if it's determined later that they caused it and that causes problem to you, you could then have a lawsuit. Right. So, but since you signed that release, they saw it, they tried to get you to whatever, and you declined that, and you signed the release. Now, if something happens because of your heart, there's But you've seen that before on heart monitors, right? Or So,
well, I mean, I don't know if I've actually looked and paid attention.
Yeah.
But I know every once in a while I get a ripple.
Okay.
And it's been like historic my whole life. Who knows why? But so anyway. So that was it. But then, so it was really nice to get. I'm sorry to bore all you people with the hospital story, but.
Well, I think they're just happy that you're okay and that you're here, and that you're smiling.
I'm working on it. A lot's going to depend now. We're setting up chemo.
Again?
Okay. Yeah, and this time it's a little bit different because this is a reoccurrence. We've already been down some of this stuff, and there's parts of the road are much more visible than they used to be, and so it was one of those kind of situations where, well, you can go fishing for a few months, or you can take chemo, because if you don't take chemo, you're only going to have a few months to fish, so. It's an easy decision. I said, sure, I'll take the chemo. Yeah, right. And they have a new, whatever you want to call it, chemical that they put in it, and they're very positive. They're upbeat. They want me to do it.
Let me ask you this: you said we know it was a reoccurrence. Has it spread? No, it stayed in that one spot.
That's a gray area.
Okay.
So it's the kind of thing where. Have you ever had? Oh, I don't know. I'm going to be really, really careful about this. Anyway, I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to go to work and do all that jazz and try and keep the folks happy and try and stay out of as much trouble as possible.
Oh, honey, I think at this point, let's just get in trouble. Who cares?
Well, I mean.
You're going to heaven already.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, that would be nice because I think I know some people there. But it's. But I have that faith now. Personally, for me, that's what I believe. Right. Okay, and it's been an unbroken promise to me since my birth. So I think about it. But I'll tell you, imagine if you will, you're sitting up at the doctor's office, and he's getting his pathology report out and everything else, and he's reading these things, and he puts it down, he looks at you, he says, well, you got 6 months to a year to live, unless we do something like this. So and so then you continue to talk and everything else, and so it became really simple that we're going to do it, because he said, you do the chemo, you could pick up 5 years,
right?
You know, and you're only putting the chemo on for like 6 months, and then you've got that time in front of you. So it was. I asked him after we had our conversation. I said, "Did I take it okay?" He says, "You're a great patient," and so I'm going to try and. Yeah, he feels also pretty positive about the fact that I got a good makeup or whatever, outlook or whatever, and stuff like that, and I'm trying to live up to that. But you know, we're going to see.
Well, I can tell you. Let me tell you a funny story about church.
Okay.
I took my niece and nephews to church for the first time in their first time ever being in church.
Okay.
They had gone when my sister had gotten married a couple years ago, but my nephew was like 6,
right.
and my niece was 4 or
right.
3. You know,
Kids,
doesn't really know. So now they're 8 and 5, and so we went to church, and you see the crucifixion in the Catholic Church and hanging up there, and my niece says to me, "Auntie, who's that up there?" I said, "Well, that's Jesus." And she says, "Is Jesus alive or dead?" I said, "Well, Jesus has died." And she said, "Oh, is that a dead body up there?" She said, No, honey, it's like a statue of a dead body.
Right.
Jesus isn't physically here. I said, he's actually in heaven. And she says, "So Jesus is in heaven now?" I said, "Yeah, he's in heaven." And then she's okay, you know, she goes, "Okay." And then she's quiet for a couple minutes, and then she goes, "Auntie, is Jesus' dad dead?" I said, "No, Jesus' dad is not dead." She goes, "Well, who's his dad?" And I said, "His dad is God." And she says, "So God is Jesus' dad?" "Yes." "Is God dead?" "No." "Well, where is God?" "Well, God's in heaven with Jesus." And she says, "Oh, okay." And then a couple minutes go by, she goes, "Auntie, wait. So God is Jesus' dad, and God never died?" I said, "Right. He just always has lived in heaven, and now Jesus had died, and he went back home to heaven." And she went, "Oh." And you can see, like, this 5-year-old's mind, like this whoosh, you know, it changed her whole reality. Right. So she was so funny about it. And then I have a story about my nephew that we can leave for next week.
Yes, by all means, because according to the little, it says 2301.
Is that 2319?
Yes, so we're perfect. Okay,
all right.
Ladies and gentlemen, here from Bright Fellows Cafe in Brooklyn, the one and only Hackensack Men and the Trenton Horns with Ready for Love.
Bye, everybody. Do something good every day and volunteer.
I'm ready as anybody could be. I'm ready as anybody could be. I'm ready for you. I hope you're ready for me. I got an axe and a pistol on the graveyard side. I'm shooting tombstone bullets where balls and tea. I'm drinking TNT. I'm smoking dynamite. I hope some schoolboy starts a fight, 'cause I'm ready as anybody can be. I'm ready for you. I hope you're ready for me. Come on, boy, let's hear it, yeah. like never before. I feel so good that I want you to know. One more drink, babe, I wish you would. And then a whole lot of love to make me feel good. I'm ready, ready as anybody can be. I'm ready for you. I hope you're ready for me. Mark Squirt on the trombone. With your curly hair, I know you feel like I ain't nowhere. Stop what you're doing, baby, come over here. I prove to you, baby, that I ain't no square.